give yourself a chance, especially at home. So it's tough, frustrating. It's a little bit of every type of emotion right now.
What about this loss? Any particular element that might kind of haunt you most as you head into the offseason?
For me, it's just, starting all the way over. Watching other teams still play, that sucks. I think for me, just the realization of, I'm going to my 17th season, for me. So that's the reality of it. For me, just, you don't have many opportunities left to give yourself a, chance to compete in the playoffs, and that's all you kind of want, at this stage of your career is just have that chance to get in there and, see what happens, and not necessarily playing and playing, for me, just, being in the playoffs last couple of years, it's not something I desire or not a goal for me, So for me, a lot of that'll be on my mind.
Obviously, it's easier if you're able to get stops to play with pace. But do you think that you guys could have still accomplished that in this one?
Yeah. If we don't have that second quarter that we had, I think we give ourselves a fighting chance. But to give up 44 points in a quarter, it's tough. The run that they went on, the turnovers that we had, we kind of dug ourselves a hole, and it was tough to get out of that hole, from the second quarter. Take that second quarter away, I think, we give ourselves a great shot.
DeMar, I know you literally only had minutes to reflect on it, but how would you just assess this roller coaster of a season, your one season here in Sacramento?
I don't know. It's, I think it really won't hit me for the next couple of days. It's probably the most I've been through in my 16-year career. The season that we had, it was a lot. It's too hard to kind of fathom right now, but I'm pretty sure over the next, couple of days it kind of hit, the reality of everything, we all went through.
DeMar, forgive me if I'm putting words in your mouth, but when you came here, I believe you came here to compete for a championship, and for it to end this season, to end this way, how difficult is that? Obviously you said you're processing and everything, but how difficult is that realization?
It's difficult, like I said, I'm not trying to play another 5-6 years, and you only got so many years, that window, close quick. Like I said, just, that was my 16th season down, It's just crazy to think about it next time, I suit up a jersey, playing a game, it'd be my 17th year, So, like I said, when you think about it from that perspective, it's definitely tough because you don't get many opportunities and you don't want to waste the opportunities that you have left either. So, it's tough. Everything don't always go the way you want it to go, and sometimes that can be frustrating. But, I think, it's just part of life. Like I said, the next few days, I'm sitting and think.
DeMar, to that point, there's some uncertainty here. I just wonder how much, the direction of the franchise and your own future is going to be weighing on your mind in these days to come.
Of course, you always want kind of, a foundation that's stable and understanding, going forward. I'm pretty sure a lot of decisions got to be made from top to bottom. Like I said, next couple of days, next couple of weeks, just processing everything that kind of went on. From a personal standpoint, that's going to be a priority. Then, we see what happens from there.
DeMar, what has the city been like? I know the season just ended, but what, seeing a sold-out crowd for a playing game here, what was your experience in the city like this season, specifically with the fans?
Whole year, the fans, it's been great. I've been honored to play for some great fan bases, and Sacramento Kings is definitely up there with that. You know, the respect, the passion, the love that they bring every single night, the city, the fans, you know, it's amazing. You know, it's hard to come by great fans that support you through it all. You know, you got to appreciate that, you know, and I appreciate it every single moment. That's why, you know, from my standpoint, I always try to make it a priority to go out there every single night and play. You know, I never wanted to miss games, you know, miss a couple games early. You know, it was frustrating because, you know, I just wanted to be out there and, you know, represent for this, you know, organization.
Thanks, everyone. Locker room's open. Substitutes coming next.
Good evening, everybody. Obviously not the outcome that we were looking for. One quarter gets away, 10 turnovers in that quarter, just unacceptable. It's been a lot, and like I told the guys, they've grown in a lot of ways. I appreciate them. I appreciate the organization. I appreciate our fan base for the opportunity to stand on the sideline and represent us. It's not the way that you want to end, but only one team at the end is standing there. So this is my first time in this position to feel this way without a jersey on, and it's not a good feeling. I'm not about that life, so yeah.
Yeah, Doug, what was your total message to the guys after the game, and where did it feel like this thing slipped away there in the second quarter?
I mean, you just can't throw the ball all around the gym, man. I mean, all of a sudden, you know, we just lost our mind, and just the ball started going all over the place, and before you know it, I mean, the first quarter, it was like everything that we talked about, everything that they saw was right there. They played with pace. It wasn't a crazy quarter, up by 2, but the flow of the quarter was more to our liking and the things that we had discussed and talked about. In the second quarter, not only turnovers, but live ball turnovers, like downhill. They played it, and I told them in the huddle, like they are playing the exact way that I described that we need to play. Fast, aggressive, downhill, punch them in the mouth, and make the ref make a call. And that's exactly what they did. They did it for one quarter. The rest of the game was ours. They did it for one quarter. But in this league, you You can't allow that. You can't allow Klay Thompson to see one go in. You can't allow those things to happen. So, yeah.
Doug, DeMar just talked about like how difficult of a season, this was, and you touched on it briefly as well. But throughout your entire career as a player and a coach, how are you able to rank this amongst one of them tough seasons you dealt with?
I mean, for me, it's player, whatever, coach, announcer, fan. I've never seen anything like it. I talked to Jay Triano, and I was like, "You ever seen anything like this, Jay?" And he said, "Yeah, when I was in Phoenix." And then I started listening to things that happened here, and he was like, "Well, you got me there." And I was like, "Yeah, it's just a lot." I mean, when there's all of a sudden you have 5 different teams in a 40-day span. But listen, this is the nature of the job. It's the nature of what we do. Ain't nobody crying. Ain't nobody checking for us. So you got to buckle up and you got to figure it out. That's what it is. I mean, this organization, this city deserves a championship. It's just, it is what it is. I mean, it's going to happen. And when it happened, it's going to be one of those moments that there'll probably be a lot of memes because it's going to be real funny then. Ha ha.
Doug, I guess to follow up on that, obviously this season has taken a toll on all you guys, and you've kind of taken the brunt of a lot of that stuff. Like, how much do you want this job going forward? What kind of reassurances or anything like that have you been given, and what do you expect that process to look like in the days or weeks to come?
Yeah, none. But this is where I want to be. I think you guys know that. I need to finish what I started, and that's the only reason that I ever even stepped onto the sideline from where I was at initially. Because I had to exercise some demons for myself, but more than anything is when you hear the narratives that are written by people who are not here and just have random stuff to say, it irks me because they don't know. It's an incredible fan base. It's an incredible organization. And when it's right and you're going around beating the hell out of people, not a lot of people got a lot to say then. But when you're getting your butt beat, they got a lot to say, and I feel you. But when that tide turns and the rabbit got the gun, then we'll see.
You're kind of obviously alluding to your own unknown future here, but it feels like there's a lot of question marks in the air entering the offseason. How comfortable are you with kind of if there was a decision to bring a lot of this core back also with yourself, that this group can be kind of back?
I mean, when you talk roster construction, there's a lot there. I mean, you got to have a point guard in this league. There's a lot of different things. So that question, we could sit here and talk for a long time. But I love all these guys, like every single one of them. I know some of them are probably, they get upset because they don't play the minutes and different things. But that's the nature of our game and what we do. We have to create a culture that is that's highly competitive but highly positive at the same time, because that's who I am. And it's a tough thing, but we just keep going until we get to where we're going. It's an absolute must. It's tough right now. This one, I don't know, going through all the different things that we've experienced this year, and we've had some ups and some downs. This one probably hurts me a little bit more than the others, just because there's finality to it. But this is the nature of the business that we've chose us.
Doug, I won't ask you to look ahead tonight, but Zach was up here a second ago just kind of talking about how you had to take over like a really tough situation, and he thinks you did a great job with the circumstances you had. How much does that mean to you as the coach to have that respect and that belief from Zach in your abilities, and how much do you just really want to? You mentioned it a second ago, but unfinished business, and feel like you really need like a full season to get a real shot at this job.
I mean, it means everything because those guys, they see you. They're really smart, man, and you can't fool them. You might think that you're fooling them, but you can't fool them. And they see real and they see fake, and they feel real and they feel fake. And I hope all of them know I'm going to always keep it real, whether right or wrong, whatever it is. And I think that's what Zach feels more than anything. These are tough circumstances, but you buckle it up and you come in every day and you try to figure it out, and you create narratives, and you're trying to define your purpose and all the different things that come along with this job of leading men and trying to get to a common goal. It's difficult in and of itself, and then you add the circumstances and all the different things, and it's tough. But I thank them because they came in every day. They looked me in the eye, and they knew that I wasn't playing, and I'm here to do one thing, and I think that they respected that. So when you hear that from somebody that it's almost like when you walk around the community and somebody tells you, I really love the way that you played, whatever. That's what makes it all worth it. So for me, to hear that from him is big time. I appreciate him. Appreciate y'all.